So, my name is Josh Neitz, and I'm here to talk to you guys about my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I figured we'd start off with my personal favorite, the Blue Eyes deck, and my precious Blue Eyes White Dragon cards. So, these are pretty much the cards that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh! Been a fan of my man Seto Kaiba from the TV show, mostly because he's voiced by the same guy that did Brock in Pokemon, but either way, he's still cool. But the way that the Blue Eyes deck usually goes is you just want to get these guys out as fast as you can, because that's the whole thing that the deck runs around. So what it usually comes with is 3 alternative white dragons, which I will find here. There. And right there. And so, this is the newest version of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, where all you have to do, it's simple, don't blink, you might miss it, but in order to get out the alternative white dragon, you just gotta show your opponent the blue eyes, boom, right there, it's already set for use. Now also in another typical Blue Eyes deck, which I usually like to do, is the powerhouse is the Chaos Max one. And the Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon can only be brought out with either Chaos Form, which is this card, or, if I can find it, Advanced Ritual Summoning Art. Now what makes this guy such a powerhouse is he does double damage to defensive position monsters, which I'll give an example here. One time I was dueling my friend Derek in a duel, and he had his Maiden with Eyes of Blue out, which I'll show you right here. And the thing about Maiden is that she has 0 attack and 0 defense. So I hit Maiden with the effect of the alternative white dragon. She doesn't get destroyed. She goes into defense position, which you just hold it like this. And the thing about this guy is that he does double damage to defensive position monsters. So he'd be taking 8,000 damage to your opponent, which is pretty much a one-shot, and you get to end the duel. So yeah, that's mostly the Blue Eyes deck that I like to run. I have some of the extra deck too, like the fusions and just other stuff that you kind of need to have just to make sure your deck runs well. So like cards like Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon is a good one because when it gets destroyed on the field, you get to bring out the next one, Azure Eyes, which his ability is that all your dragon type cards are unaffected by monster effects, card effects like that. And every standby phase you get to bring out a normal dragon type monster back onto the field. So he's back, unless he's banished by the Legendary Fisherman 3. Whew. But lastly, the one that I get a lot of flack from my friend Zach about is this guy right here, the Dragon Master Knight. Funny thing about him is that he has 5,000 attack points, but he also requires, let me get him here, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and if I can get to him, the Blackluster Soldier. So when these two come out, as stated before, you get the Dragon Master Knight, which, again, is very, very hard to get out. And when you do, you get a sense of pride and accomplishment. But under my circumstances, every time I did bring it out, it got destroyed within a matter of me attacking because of another card, Honest. But I won't get into that. So then, that's pretty much my Blue Eyes deck that I like to do. The next one that I'll put together here, show you, is the Dark Magician deck. And I can hear you now. What does the Dark Magician deck look like? Well, I'll show you. Typically you just do, again, 3 Dark Magicians, because these are the cards that everybody is focusing on, because they are very powerful. So what you usually need to run with it are these 3 magic cards. Just get them ready for you. Dark Magical Circle, which, if I get to special summon any one of these guys, I get to activate its effect, which would allow me to search 3 cards from the top of my deck. I can pick one out, put them back down, add it to my hand, put the other 2 back down in any order I want. And since he was special summon, this gives you the option to banish any card on your opponent's side of the field, which is a great way to get back at somebody that special summons a special card and wipes out your entire field. Another key card that is highly recommended you run with this are 3 Eternal Souls, which I will show you in a second. Now, to deal with such card effects that banish your entire field, you need one that helps you out. And this is what Eternal Soul does. It protects my Dark Magicians from any monster or card effect from being destroyed or banished. And it's a great way to just stare at your opponent and say, "Ha! Try to get past me now!" Another key card to run in here is the Eye of Timaeus card, which you can fuse with your Dark Magician to get what I like to call the Dark Magician Knight, Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, which his effect protects my entire back row from being destroyed or targeted, which protects my Dark Magicians, and since he counts as a Dark Magician on the field, he can't be banished either. The only way to get rid of him is by battling him. So you could really just stick it to your opponent by just not getting your deck completely wiped off the field. But I also just like to run one of these guys in pretty much each one of my decks. The 3 Egyptian God cards. My personal favorite is Slifer, because he gains attack from the amount of cards you hold in your hand. So if you're like holding 4,000, he gets 4,000 attack and defense points. And from what the card says here, if a monster is normal summoned or special summoned on your opponent's field in face-up attack position, that monster loses 2,000 attack points. Then if its attack has been reduced to 0 as a result, destroy it. Which is a great way to really show that your opponent what you mean. That's why I like to run it with my Dark Magician, because if you have a card called Infinite Cards, you get to keep drawing cards. So there's no hand limit. So with the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and that card in my backfield, I could just keep drawing cards, making Slifer even more powerful. My second favorite God card to run is Obelisk the Tormentor, and he goes in my Blue Eyes deck. He's a good Egyptian god to run in a deck because he has a set amount of attack and defense skills. And his effect is you can tribute 2 of your monsters on your side of the field, and you can wipe your own field, or your own field, but it wouldn't work like that. But you can wipe your opponent's field, which is a great way to open up your other monsters you have on the field to attack your opponent directly, unless he has a tornado wall on the field. We'll get to that at a later date. The last one I like to run is the Winged Dragon of Ra, and really his ability is you can pay your life points and it becomes the attack of this card. So if you have 8,000 attack points, he gets 7,999 attack points if you really wanted to, but I don't recommend doing that, because if it bounces back at you, you might as well just throw in the towel at that point. Which is why I kind of prefer him to be my last one I run, because I actually did get to use him on our friend Connor a few days ago, and so I asked him, how did it feel like to get destroyed by an Egyptian god? And he goes like, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, these are just some of the decks I like to run. Since we're kind of pressed for time, I will just show you the two most powerful cards in my Dino deck, and that's pretty much, it's just the same card. The Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And its monster effect flips all your opponent's monsters on your side of the field, and it can inflict 1,000 damage to each of those ones there, and it can attack numerous times. But yeah, that's one of my newest decks I run. But what really got me back to what got me into Yu-Gi-Oh! It was more of back in elementary school where it became pretty popular, and I decided hey, I'll give this a shot, and so I got my first tin with my first Blue Eyes in it, and I liked it. It's pretty much what got me to like it. And story about these three Blue Eyes White Dragons, if I can find them again, is the fact that each one has a different story about it. Like, for example, this one I got from my friend Harry when he moved to Michigan after 4th grade. So I've kept this one ever since. This one I got from my cousin as like a present, just because. Thank you for that. And this last one here is the one I got when we put up our best cards for indoor recess. I put up my Red Eyes Black Dragon, and he put up the Blue Eyes. And well, I won. That's why I'm holding this up like this at you now. Let's see here. So lastly, what really just made me like all this was pretty much how many friends I made doing this. Like, half of my friends did all this too. So that's pretty much why I keep doing this, and will continue to do this until, I don't know, the end of time. But I hope you learned something, and talk to you later.